Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM. It is 6 o'clock now. I'm Nicole Hernandez.
And I'm Tim Pham. Hope you had a good weekend, friends. We're glad you're starting off a brand new week with us. We have meteorologist Thomas Patrick back here in studio with us this morning. Good morning, Thomas. My goodness, it was a wacky weekend. We got a lot of rain, a lot of wind. My hair was all crazy over the weekend.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
Feels like fall, though. Honestly, I was able to squeeze in a couple walks in between all that rainfall. And then when the rain was coming down, I was just listening to it peacefully, especially being able to fall asleep to that Saturday night. Oh, so lovely. This morning, the rain is gone. A little bit of that wind remains. And to emphasize that, these are the current temperatures, 37 Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. But factor in the wind, which makes it feel colder outside. And this is what that calculation feels like. 32 in Spokane, 31 in Coeur d'Alene. We call this the wind chill, or feels like temperature, just basically what it feels like when you factor in that wind speed, which is only about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So not a strong wind, calming down, and skies clearing out. So we're in for a very peaceful and honestly very average October day now that the worst of the wind and rain is behind us.
Thank you, Thomas. Let's take a live look at traffic now at I-90 and Argonne this morning. You can see there's really not Argonne. You can see not much traffic happening here, specifically closer to downtown Spokane. And I'm looking at our traffic maps, and it looks like the highway looks like this across the entire region. We're not seeing any major backups or congestion. So if you're heading out the door this morning, things are looking good.
That Idaho State Police is picking them up, calling our partners at the federal government and ICE, and having them deported back to their country of origin.
Brad Little is sharing more information about his Operation No Return. Under this new program, the state is bringing, quote, dangerous illegal aliens to ICE detention facilities.
The program is funded through the Governor's Emergency Fund and targets violent offenders and serious criminals. On Friday, the governor's office put out a list with the names and charges of those people currently serving time. The governor's office says all of them were in the United States illegally and will be deported to their country of origin after completing their sentences. It's a part of the state's new agreement with ICE.
The Idaho State Police, under the direction of Governor Little, are now taking these from detention facilities, taking these criminals who've committed heinous acts. We're taking them out to ICE detention facilities, where they will then be transported back to their countries of origin, back to where they were born, back to where they have citizenship.
It is important to note ISP is not arresting anyone in the state regarding their documentation status, rather assisting ICE in transporting people to detention facilities after they complete their sentences.
Well, Spokane police say they made an arrest in connection to last weekend's deadly shooting on the Spokane's Lower South Hill. They arrested 32-year-old Andre Moore, saying he allegedly shot and killed 38-year-old Derek Schaefer. Officers say they used surveillance video and witness testimony to find Moore. He is now scheduled for his first appearance in court today.
And U.S. Highway 2 is back open this morning after a part of it was shut down following a 3-car crash outside of Davenport. Deputies say the crash happened around 4 o'clock last night. WSP says the driver of a car was traveling in the eastbound lane when it hit a second car making a left turn. So then the second car was pushed into the westbound traffic lanes. WSP says 6 people were hurt, including 3 minors. 1 person was life-flighted to Sacred Heart.
Somebody poached a cow moose in southwest Idaho last week, and now the Idaho Department of Fish and Game is looking for more information. Game officials say the female moose was found near No Business Mountain in Adams County, just west of Lake Cascade. They think the animal was killed during opening weekend of general deer season. In the last few years, moose populations have declined both here in Idaho and across the country. Killing a moose without a tag is a felony. Whoever did this could be fined more than $1,000 and possibly lose hunting privileges for life. If you know anything about this, call Idaho Fish and Game at the number on your screen.
With the government shutdown now extending into its 3rd week, senators are gearing up for another vote that would either extend the shutdown or bring it to an end.
KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live in the newsroom this morning. So, Brandon, what's the latest on the shutdown and how are lawmakers here in Washington responding?
Yeah, good morning, Tim, Nicole. Well, today marks this current government shutdown as the third longest in U.S. history. This afternoon at 2:30, the Senate will reconvene for an 11th vote that will ultimately bring the shutdown to an end or extend it for at least another day. Both Democrats and Republicans blaming the other side for why the shutdown has lasted this long. Along with other Democrats in the Senate, Washington Senator Patty Murray says she's working to ensure tax breaks for 24 million Americans who buy insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Last week, the senator saying, quote, President Trump and Republican lawmakers have been desperate to ignore the fact that healthcare premiums are about to skyrocket for millions of Americans, all because of their own refusal to act. Republicans and the president say they're open to considering a fix for the expiring ACA tax breaks, but want the issue addressed separately. When speaking to local media, Congressman Michael Baumgartner said in part, obviously, health care is a major part of what we spend the government's budget on. There's always time for discussions of health care, but we're not going to do it as part of a quid pro quo for ending a government shutdown. So right now, more than 750,000 federal workers have been furloughed because of this government shutdown. For now, live in the newsroom, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Over the weekend, thousands of protesters met at B.A. Clark Park in Spokane to join the No Kings movement. It was a part of the national protest against the Trump administration. We spoke to a man who says he wants to document the demonstration by taking photographs to remember the event.
I counted on Lightroom about 40 events, or maybe more, that we've been to. The first one was in February here in the snow, which made for excellent photographs, but really cold hands.
Harvey says he hopes his photographs bring people hope for the future. Spokane police helped contain the crowds off the streets. Meantime, a smaller group of protesters met in Coeur d'Alene. At least 1,000 people lined the street along US 95. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press says the group was met with counter-protesters driving by. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll have more coverage on the rallies that took place across the Pacific Northwest.
Humiliated. It was just super frustrating. It was super embarrassing and dehuman.
Well, that was Jonathan Van Giesen from Western Washington. He was on an Alaska Airlines flight when a flight attendant asked him to cover his hearing aids with headphones. Jonathan had connected his hearing aids to music while the plane was taxiing to take off. He says the flight attendant asked him several times to cover his hearing aids, even after he told her he had a disability. Jonathan says hearing aids do not work if they are covered.
Like a microphone to a speaker, you get feedback. Okay. Like if you go up to it, it doesn't go, but it does, it'll stop. But now you have something that's earmuffs over the sound coming in.
Alaska Airlines put out a statement. They said, quote, this occurred because the audio from the device was loud enough to impact other guests nearby. Jonathan, though, says using hearing aids to stream music is covered under the Air Carrier Access Act.